Yo, 365, shake my hand and welcome to another video. In the last few days, I've done CAD JPY for you guys, Swiss franc, Hungarian franc, Swiss franc JPY, and Euro Hungarian franc. And today's video, we're going to be looking at, I actually don't really cover this asset a lot in the war rooms. It's actually something that, I don't know why we don't go through it, but anyways, I have traded a Euro Norwegian krone for a while now, especially last year, the year before, and also I guess it's not a common popular pair, depending on which broker you're with, right? So a lot of these type of assets I find a lot on AvaTrade, and they've got clear trends, man. That's why I like it. All right, so in front of you is probably last year's chart. All right, into this year, of course, but remember, if there's a new trade that I took in 2023, I'll let you know. I didn't take this in 2023. This has been running since last year, 2022, and I got out of it just towards, March or something, or rather my take profit got hit. So this was a clean set and forget trade that we're looking at. And just so for those of you who are confused, the lines that you can see, the pink lines, or the pink or purple, I don't know, the pink lines are what we call a higher time frame supply and demand curve. This is not support and resistance. This is a higher time frame supply and demand curve, probably drawn on the monthly chart if I pretty much stick to how I do things, or very much I do what I teach. And then the yellow lines are a similar supply and demand curve, one time frame above my entry time frame. I always enter on the daily time frame, as you can see for yourself, on the daily automatically. And so the yellow lines were probably drawn on the weekly time frame, right? So I've got a higher time frame supply and demand curve, then I've got a lower time frame supply and demand curve, mapping out, price legs, right? So, again, hit the link down below if you want to learn all this kind of stuff, because I can't cover this kind of stuff in every single video. But if you come to module 2 of our trading course, module 2, I'm just quickly looking at the supply and demand curve, part 1. This is lecture 1, and you'll be surprised how many traders do the course and don't use these beautiful tools that I give them, right? Like, as a swing trader, I need to know where price is all the time, right? So this is a clean curve, and it gave me almost a 6-month swing, beautiful swing. I'm on the daily time frame. As soon as I realized the where price was on the curve, right? First of all, on the weekly curve, because I have a tendency of entering my trades on the daily time frame, so I needed a weekly chart curve, right? So on the weekly curve, we were here, right, between 0 and 25%. You're looking at these yellow lines. This is where we were on the weekly curve. I had established that price had created a new leg, a new phase, right? And all buying, institutional buying, that's the trend was going to happen in this curve. On the governing curve, it was anyone's, it was no man's land, only 50% halfway through. So I knew that markets were leaving from a demand to a supply on a governing chart. From a demand to a supply, let's go to the monthly time frame. And this is literally the stuff that I teach all the time. Literally the stuff that I teach all the time. And yeah, so I do apologize if the chart is a bit messy, but you can see on the monthly time frame where it mapped out a new market phase, right? Price had just gotten done falling, right? Price had gotten done trending to the downside on the monthly time frame. There we go, right? And obviously a new leg came about, break of structure. So the yellow line started to mark out this new phase up, and this is where my take profit was, because for the weekly time frame, this was going to be about 50% mark on the curve on the weekly, but on the monthly time frame, this is a seller's area. This is a whole bearish order block, bearish a territory, so to speak, not order block, sorry, but bearish territory, 75% to 100. Yeah, so we found a good position in there on the daily time frame, And yeah, I took a trade. Was sit and forget trade. Again, clean entry, did nothing. My stop loss surprisingly was still there this entire time, and got out sometime in March, right? So this is a clean 1:9. Very, very, very good. And again, all of this is based on this lesson here, supply and demand curve. Okay, I see lecture one. Part one is about 2 hours. Okay, so what? There's a lot of good information in there. And then part two of that is the combination of supply and demand curve and 50% body candles, which is a type of continuation pattern. So refresh yourself if you've got these type of tools and access to these lectures. Refresh yourself, because this is literally how I am making money. Like it's as simple as that, right? So clean analysis on EURNOK. Haven't been in it in a long time, and because we're coming back here together for the first time, I think we can actually remove all of this hard work as we start to map out some new trends today, right? So if you haven't done it yet, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video if you like the video. If you don't like the video, hit the like button, just so that you can constantly have a balanced life of things that you don't like showing up on your algorithm, right? So I appreciate all the views, all the comments. Let's get to work, right? So EURNOK, right off the bat, for me is a buy profile asset. You can see there I was in a 6 to 7 month buy swing trade, right? And I don't know if you've been following all my other videos, guys. Long wicks always need to get filled. These are market inefficiencies. Wicks always get filled, right? Price has to fill those wicks. Look at that clean consolidation, PCP forming, so we can fill this long wick, right? And so overall, we can literally agree, markets are in kind of like a buying mood. On the 12-month chart, I do not see a single supply in place to slow things down. Maybe we'll see, smaller long-term supplies, and by long-term I'm talking about governing supplies, I'm talking about presidential supplies on the monthly chart and the 3-month chart. But overall, this is just like a simple thing, and this is why I say, depending on your broker, some of these weird pairs, euro, Norwegian krone, and then yesterday we did Swiss franc, Hungarian franc, all these weird exotic pairs. They look expensive because of the rollover fee and the swap and whatever. But in the long term, if you've got a good lot size in and the patience of a saint, right, and you can hold your trades, right, what you'll find yourself is a beautiful asset that you can hold and literally give to a registered LLC, all those profits, put them in a will or a trust. This is a long positional trade. This stuff moves and moves forever in one direction, right? So I drew a couple of demands on the 3-month chart because there was no supply to draw. I'm just going to tighten these areas of value right now. They technically should be green, but I'm feeling a little bit lazy. Okay, so I'm just like really trying to clear up my chart so we can find the most recent demand in control of price, right? So I'm on the 3 months time frame. Again, very important for me to tell you this. I personally do not see a supply. I personally do not see a supply. I do see a wick that needs to be filled. Another long wick that needs to be filled. Another long wick that needs to be filled, right? And that's going to happen, right? Whether it takes a year to do that, 2 years, or 6 months. On the 3 months chart, every single candlestick here represents one financial quarter. I can see that happening. As price left here, creating a demand, had we been paying attention to this asset together in the war rooms last year, I might not have closed my one buy, or I would have adjusted my take profit. Sometimes I set like these crazy long-term take profits, thinking one day I'll come back to it. And because there's so many assets to look at and so many things going on, you all of a sudden you just see a bump in your capital, and then you have to go back and find out which was the asset and why, what happened, etc. But here we have a new demand that was created, at the beginning of this year, right? So this is the January candlesticks. This is the 3-month chart for January, February, March, and markets are moving up. When markets get here, be very careful. I don't know if we'll ever look at this asset on time together, in time. But if markets were to break this, please expect this, right? Every time price breaks a major turning point, a major turning point, right? We expect, or rather, when a new major turning point is created, we expect banks to take profits, and then we continue. A new major point was created here, we expect banks to take profit. So if markets are to break this at some point, if they do, then if you feel like selling, sell. I probably would do the exact same thing up until we get to some valid strong demands where we can then continue with our sequence alignment to the upside, because it's a buy profile asset. Now let's get to our governing time frame to let us know. Right, so the bodies have been cleared again. Also, no clear supply. There's a long weekend. Yes, the supply for this candlestick is this long, but we don't even have a beautiful imbalance leaving, right? So we can expect price to continue running to the upside. What would be nice is for markets to break the parabolic structure. I really would have appreciated this. Something like that. That would be beautiful. I might not be in those sales because I wouldn't be really focused on the daily time frames and weekly time frames every week of Euro, Norwegian krone right now. What I will do is set an alert, not a pending order, but an alert, right? So you can come to TradeView. If you've got the app, you can get the app on what's it called, Play Store, whatever, Play Store. Set an alert, right? Set an alert here to go on your app or an email or something to tell you to have a look when price starts to arrive at this area. If you see valid rules being set up when price is close to 10,690, right? Then move to set a pending order, because this will be a very nice pullback place. But in terms of price being forced to sell or a trend forcing price to sell, none exists. There's absolutely nothing that tells us that price is going to rally to the downside first and then move up. Price could keep going up for as long as it wants until it breaks and creates a new major turning point. And when it does that, then of course we expect downside pressure to these valid demands, right? If we look to the past, there we go. Price breaks, price makes and may equal highs, price retraces into a demand, price moves on back into a demand, price moves up. This is probably a retracement zone. If you're to pull up a Fibonacci, I'm thinking, because here price turned, but there wasn't a demand used, but definitely retracement zone, right? So if I do a swing low, swing high here, you'll see it. And these are tools that I teach and use all the time, right? There we go. There's my swing low, there's my swing high, there's price within that PCP retail area, creating a bullish order block for price to come back into a demand, and the dance continues, right? So this is something to look out for 2023, maybe towards the end of 2023 into 2024, 2025. If you catch a valid demand, get about it. If you catch a valid demand, dream big about it. Just hold it. Swallow the swap fees, because it is an exotic pair. They do go a little bit crazy. Swallow that stuff and hold the course, right? Really get your money's worth. On the weekly time frame, if there's a need, there are multiple areas of value to choose from, okay? And just be very careful. When picking a weekly demand, you want as much confluence as possible, because as price creates more and more, the staggering demands that are not nested zones become weaker and weaker. All right, and at some point you're going to want to start thinking about drawing fib levels when price starts to give you a swing high, right? There is no swing high at the moment, so you can't draw one. But there is the most recent swing low, and you'll be interested to know that price might actually stop here if for the next 2 weeks price does give you a swing high, right? So price starts to turn to the downside, then you can start to draw your Fibonacci's. But right now, once again, nothing serious, right? So we don't have a supply on the 12-month, 3-month, 1 month, and on the weekly time frame we have some type of supply that price respected. Which is not really a type of supply that at 365 we would respect. But then price did come back, give complicated 365 candles, then drop. And this is where markets are right now, right? Within this, but you can see the structure. There's a demand within a demand within potential CPs, all there to assist, price going up. And on the daily time frame, and also just a tip with me in trading, in terms of trading psychology, once I'm done with a long-term swing on an asset, I avoid it. I avoid it for a while because I don't want to come back with the whole I dominated this asset. I was in price for 6 months, blah blah blah. In case I'm blinkered, right? I would have preferred not to have been out of this trade. I would have preferred to be part of the next wave of retracements and still held my area of, competitive value, because I bought somewhere here in September, somewhere one of these lows where we drew our weekly supply and demand curve. I would have preferred to be still inside this green zone holding a buy, because we know the buys within these significant demands hold for a very long time, if not forever, on a buy profile asset, right? But it's done. Prices moved on without me. I've taken profit, and such is life, right? On the daily time frame, we can see a couple of valid demand supplies, still up there, where price still has to arrive to, right? And anything can go, because remember, this is a true supply. It's a true daily supply within, I guess, within nothing, within the highest part of the major turning point. Yes, maybe within some type of weekly supply, but definitely nothing else after that. There's no monthly, no whatever, right? So, I mean, not to waste any time, but that's really all we can do with Euro Norwegian krone, is for the most part just wait. We gotta wait it out. Of course, you can try and fish for smaller plays here, for smaller retracement zones. Just be okay with some of these breaking if they do break, because again, we don't really have that beautiful sequence alignments like a weekly a demand valid in a governing demand, at least to push price up, right? So I'm hoping for us to come back to this in the third financial quarter. I'm hoping to by then we'll have clarity on this daily supply, preferably being removed, and we'll have a clean major turning point removed. If we get a major turning point removed, I'll be looking out for some valid supplies. If I can get a valid supply on the weekly time frame, I'll sell down. I'll sell with price all the way to a valid demand. I'm hoping that weekly supply will develop into a governing supply, right? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share. 365 students, if you're registered, supply and demand curve is absolutely a crucial part of our trading strategy. We gotta use these tools. We gotta understand our charts. So please, please, please come back and watch this lecture. It's a 2-hour lecture. And it's good. It's good that it was 2 hours, right? By every right, you guys are getting absolutely everything: how to draw the curves, how the curves work, as you can see for yourselves, and how to use them. And I still use them. I still use them once in a while, especially when you're trying to map up very long-term trades. You gotta know which side of the curve you're gonna be in on the market phase when the leg starts, and then more importantly, when to get out of the curve, right? So this is part 1, and obviously part 2 with 50% body candles. Yeah, until then, see you. Peace.